Hi, so today I thought I would do a shop my stash kind of video because I am buying a lot of new makeup and I feel like I am not getting use of the makeup I already own. So I'm just gonna take you with me. This is my main storage of my makeup, and this drawer is all of the base product. As you can see, I have plenty, so yeah, let's get some use out of them. And these are all foundations and some more foundations some more foundations, and this is like concealers and some primers. I don't really use primer that often, so I don't have much of them. And there's some powder foundations at the back, and these are all powders. So yeah, for powders, I feel like I am that kind of style that I take one that I like, I just use that consistently. So I think I'm just gonna use the powder I have in my project pan. But for foundation, I do want to choose something that I haven't used in a minute. Which one should I use? I want to use some light coverage ones. I don't want to have a full-on base, so maybe this Tom Ford one. This is the Traceless foundation, and I haven't used it in years. And let me choose a concealer. Oh, I haven't even used this one since I bought it. So yeah, this concealer. I also want to have a primer, which is not in this drawer. It's this one, the e.l.f. Putty Primer, because I don't really use primer that often, so I didn't get much use on this. So the next two drawers, they are all cheek products, or just actually they are just blushes. So this drawer, they are all powders, and this drawer is my Asian brand blushes and cream like blushes and liquid ones and stick ones. So I am thinking this Nars one, because the packaging is absolutely gross. So I do want to get a little more use out of this. And these days I really love to pair something that's neutral and pop some like a pinky, very bright blush on the very center of my cheek. So this, my pop of color kind of choice, is from Nars. Is there, oh, they're all in Japanese, as a dual intensity blush. And I don't know the name in English because it's like a Japanese sticker, but it's the pinky one. I think this is the only one that's like this pink. Okay, that's that. And we also need a nudie kind of blush, which I'm thinking one of my SUQQU blush, because I actually haven't used them in years as well. Let me just use this 04. I think this is the color Ulusibi. Yeah, this is the only permanent shade I have. All of the others are limited editions, so that's that. And next drawer is some small eyeshadow palettes, some highlights and bronzers. For bronzer, I think I'm not gonna take anything from here. I will just use the one in my project pan. But for highlight, I do want to get some use out of this collection. I'm thinking one of my Clé de Peau highlight, because I haven't used them in a long time. This one, I believe when I first start doing my makeup, I used a lot. Which one should I use? They are all so pretty. Orange one, because I haven't used this one that much. Let me try it. So I think that's about it. Yeah. So for my eyes, I already built a palette shopping my stash. This is kind of a perfect color story for me in the season fall. I built this palette mainly using like Natasha Denona palettes. They're from the green brown palette or the gold palette, or some from the LILA palette. And these two are from Viseart. It's the Pro Big, the matte palette. And these little ones are from the Colourpop So Jaded palette, which I think is a collaboration with Kathleen Lights. And these two big ones are old Makeup Forever eyeshadows. Now they come in little square pans. And this round one, they are from Makeupgeek, which I haven't used in years, but I actually loved them a lot like when I first got them. So yeah, that's what we're gonna use today for our eyeshadow. So let's do our makeup. I didn't choose any lip product, so I think I'll just decide what to use when I done with other part of my makeup. Primer is this e.l.f. Putty Primer. I haven't used this in a very long time. I just don't really reach for primers that much because a lot of times I don't find they do much for me. It's not the typical silicone kind of feeling that I don't really like. This is more of a very smooth face cream kind of texture. For my foundation, I choose the Tom Ford foundation. As much as I remember, this is a very liquidy, almost a tinted moisturizer kind of foundation, which I really like. And I am in the shade 4. The texture is very liquidy. It actually, on the face, is much lighter than you can see in on my hand. And much pinkier. I wonder if they would oxidize a little bit. I hope they do, because this is a little too pink for me. But the finish is so glossy. Such a glossy, almost oily looking finish, but it's pretty. I think if I don't need to wear mask anymore, I would love to use this product, this foundation, in the winter, because it's very thin and it's very glowy and luminous looking on the face, as I think you can tell. It's a little bit oily looking, but it's like the pretty kind of oily looking. It's like you're intentional. I feel like it's cleaning on a little bit of my dry patches here, which I don't even know I have, but it's not very visible. I can only tell it from like this close, so not a big issue at all. I'm wondering, is this concealer gonna be too dark? I believe this is a pretty thick concealer, just a tiny bit. Yeah, I was right, it's a pretty thick full coverage and almost matte. My under eye was very glowy because I applied that Tom Ford foundation, but now it's like almost not matte, but it's like satin kind of finish. It blends out pretty nicely. I don't feel like this is emphasizing my texture or anything. Like I said, I'm just gonna use the powder from my project pan, which is a brand called 3. It's a Japanese brand. So, the eyeshadow. Since I choose a lot of these kind of dusty shimmers, metallics. They are not very bright shades, but they are still colorful, like dusty pink and purple and green kind of shade. I want to use something like this. It's like a dusty rose color, and pair with something like this. This is a very beautiful purple metallic shade, and it's kind of a little bit duochrome looking. And this shade, they are all from Natasha Denona, I believe. Makeupgeek Frappe as a base. As well as I can remember, this was my favorite all over the lid shade from Makeupgeek years ago. And it is a very nice color. I have heard Makeupgeek shadows go off very quickly, but mine are still fine. They are still usable. And this shade, as far as I can tell, it's still pigmented. It's still like blending very nicely. So I don't know if that's because the formula is different from finish to finish, or even color to color. I want to deepen my outer crease. Use this color. This is from the LILA palette from Natasha Denona. And recently I swatched some of my Natasha palettes. I feel like actually they are going off, and some palettes I don't even have for that long. The Sunset palette, some of the shades in that is like, when I was swatching it, it's almost like balling up and create this little chunky eyeshadow bits on my arm. And they are not very pigmented anymore. And also some shimmers, metallics does that as well. But it's not like all of the shades in the palette. It's just a couple shades, so I don't know what's that about. I'm just gonna place this color all over my eyelid. Oh, it's such a pretty purple shade. With purple eyeshadows, a lot of times it can be too cool, like to looking a little bit gray, or too warm to the point it looks like almost like a berry shade. But this one is not. This one is, I don't know if this makes sense. It's like a neutral purple. It's very purple, but it's not too cool and it's not like too warm. I actually love purple eyeshadows a lot as well. I don't know why I stopped using that. Maybe because recent years purple eyeshadows are not that on trend. It's either the very rich orangey burn undertone color, or like peachy eyeshadows. I feel like last year the trend was mostly peachy corally eyeshadow. This is like a gunmetal metallic glitter all-in-one kind of shadow. Is from the Natasha Denona brown green palette, I believe. I feel like on the eye is pretty much just a glow kind of thing. So let's move on to the face. Like I said, I'm not shopping my stash because I'm focusing on my project pan. So for bronzer, I'm just gonna use this Chanel SOLEIL TAN de Chanel. I really want to have some progress on this. So just a little bit bronzer. And for blush, SUQQU 04. Put on like this area because I want to layer that Nars highlighting blush on this area. Oh, this is pretty pink on my skin. Nars. I remember the first ear, I got this blush. I love it a lot. I was using this color every day into springtime because this is a very spring color. And now I feel like I still really love it, because even though it looks like a very intense metallic finish kind of blush, but it doesn't look like that on the face. It's very much just a soft glow. Of course, if you're gonna use too much, you'll be metallic because it's a very intense formula. But if you would use something fluffy like this, it pretty much just gives you like a fresh pinky flush on your cheek. Really like it. Glitter Peau. This is the shade 15, and I don't think I have used this one much. It's a peachy highlight with very fine glitter in it. I'm just gonna blend all of the shades together. And it's not a strong highlight. I almost feel like it's like mattifying the face a little bit because of the very glowy foundation and very glowy blush. So I don't think this product is bad. I just feel like it's not the right product to pair with other stuff on my face. So this is a combo that I haven't used in years. It's from a collection that Victoria Beckham collaborated with Estee Lauder. This is their first collaboration, I believe. I couldn't remember. And this is the gloss. It's the shade name is Desert Heat, and there is also a lip pencil, the shade 01 Victoria. And I really love this color. And even though I have a lot of nude lip gloss and lip liner and also lipstick, I rarely find something like this. It's like burnt brick kind of color mixed with nudie brown color, and it's also a little bit cool toned, like a taupey kind of undertone. So it's like a really complicated nude color, and this lip pencil is just the perfect color to pair with this lip gloss. Still very nice, still very creamy. I wonder if this is just existing formula and she create a shade, or did she create a new formula? Blotting a little bit with my finger. I'm really happy what I have used, like every product I have used. The only one I'm not very sure about is the primer, because I don't really notice that much of a difference compared to when I don't use it. And I don't blame the primer because my pores are pretty big. Pore filling or smoothing kind of primer are just not gonna work on me. So yeah, that's why I don't really use primers. They just don't do much for me. But every other product, like the eyeshadow, very happy with what I got today. And the cheek, like blush, very pretty, especially the Nars one. Thank you for watching. Bye.